So I was looking at how to start. When we try to look at the different type of vrittis, as you know, today we are going to take this Viparyaya, and interestingly, that this example also is related to today, because today being eclipse in many part of the world, especially in Europe. I hope you people followed some rules. Anyway, no question, nothing I want to ask, okay? So, as for the rule, if you ask me about the eclipse, when eclipse happens, generally we follow 12 hours before, or else at least 6 to 8 hours before, definitely. One should not eat anything. No cooking, nothing to be done. For example, after eclipse is over, supposed to take shower and cook fresh food, not the old food that is in the fridge, okay? And of course, all the place and everything to be cleaned. In fact, the impact of the eclipse continues for 7 days. That's sort of asaucha. That's why earlier days, when eclipse happens, for 7 days no travel is allowed. Forget about doing any auspicious things. And interestingly, for example, especially for Europeans, I can tell this point. I am not confusing, but this is for next time onwards, okay? This time is gone. For example, this time, you might have seen that lunar eclipse in the morning started. Then after that, sunrise started. So when it got over, you have not seen, because sun took over. So as per the rule, now still eclipse continuing. So you cannot have moksha. You cannot make yourself free from the impact of the eclipse. So whole day is not supposed to take any food, nothing. That's why you can see your digestive fire, your thinking, everything will be low today. Nothing will move. And only after seeing the moon in the evening, you are supposed to take bath and clean everything like again fresh. Because unless you see the moon, you cannot. So these are the small things to be noted, because why? All these things are again related to what? How to improve, not consciousness, okay? To improve my consciousness, no. How to transform myself from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva, from sattva to nitya sattva. Okay? Where Bhagavan will tell Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, nitya sattvasta bhavaha iti. So may you become predominantly all the time sattva guna. So all these practices are nothing but to transform myself from this tama and rajaguna to sattva-guna predominantly. Choice is yours. So while discussing all these things, we have been discussing that mind, 5 types of mind. So there we are going here and there. So based on the gunas, we discussed that there are 5 types of mind. Mudha, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagram, and finally Niruddham. And when we try to look at psychologically all these 5 aspects, we divide it into 2 categories. So either they come under Klishtha or Aklishtha. Is it clear? Now, when we try to look at functioning wise, So their way of functioning, way of appearing, and the purpose. Again, it is being divided into 5 categories. So what are they? So starting with, they are called Pratyaksha, Anumana, sorry, I made a mistake, Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, and Smriti. So in this 5, when you look at that Pramana, Viparyaya, already we have seen what is Pramana. Pramana is nothing, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agama iti. So this is one type of modification, one type of brutti that takes place, we have seen in details. Then comes Viparyaya. So Viparyaya is opposite of Pramana. So where we see differently, not negatively. For example, instead of seeing one moon, I see 2 moons. What you say all the time, my hallucination, I see something entirely different. So that also we have seen in details. Now here comes up with another type of brutti. So that is called as Vikalpa. So let us read this sutra so that it becomes easier. Sabda Jnananupati Vastu Shunyaha Vikalpaha iti. So he says, look, Sabda, when he says Sabda Jnananupati, so what is that? We need to see, because if you look at any translation, generally Vikalpa is being translated as imagination. Whereas actually it is more than imagination. I was going through, that's why I was breaking. I also gave the translation of imagination and I wanted to get away. But actually we need to look at very seriously. Because if it is only mere imagination, then it can come under what? Viparyaya or not? The previous one. Because imagination is not right cognition. It's imagination, your fancies. So why Vikalpa becomes another type of brutti in my mind? That is a big question mark we need to discuss in this. That's why he says, look, Vikalpa is not mere imagination. He uses 2 words very carefully. Sabda Jnana Anupati. So that means this type of brutti, I am not using imagination, okay? It's very carefully. This type of brutti, the modification, that takes place in my mind in keeping with or following what I am following. Says, look, sabdam, verbal expression. So the knowledge, the brutti, that takes place in my mind in keeping with shabda. So that means if sabda is important here, the sound, the verbal expression, it should come under agama. You understand? Or it should come under pratyaksha. It can come under pratyaksha pramana, absolutely no problem. Why it should come under pratyaksha? Because when somebody calls you, hey, or that is there, this is the object. So that means what? The knowledge takes place. So in keeping with the sound. But why here is being said Vikalpa is another set of brutti. So we need to be very careful because he uses another word, because that's why sutra is very tough. So that's why he uses this word vastu shunyah. So vastu shunyah means here actually the knowledge takes place in keeping with the sound, the verbal expression, where vastu is not there, where the object, the substratum or the knowledge, the object of knowledge is not there. How is it possible? You understand? It's very confusing, okay? Actually, we have a lot of expression, because I was going through this particular, we have a lot of argument on this chapter, but on this aspect. Because actually Vikalpa plays a very big role, especially in Shastra, also in our day-to-day life. So that's why we need to be little bit careful. How it is a vastu sunya and how it is confusing, also let me talk about it. We have a beautiful expression. Raho Sirah. So Rahu Sirah means the head of Rahu. Because it's a very nice expression. Head of Rahu. Rahu, sixth case. Because here Sanskrit is a little bit required, okay? Without Sanskrit you will not enjoy how the things will go here and there, okay? So when it says Rahu Sirah, so that is called Visheshya Visheshana Bhava Sambandha. So okay, this is called confusion, okay? So here is noun and adjective. Wherever we use, sixth case, like we have called, another example is called Gau Chitra, Chitra Gau. So like, sometimes we use this word, colorful cow. So that means what? The colorfulness is an adjective to the cow or not? So how to differentiate? How to recognize the cow? So there we use very carefully that this is called Visheshya Visheshana Sambandha. So one is noun, other one is called adjective. Is it clear? Now same concept when we bring it Raho Shiraha Shiravat iti. So it's a sixth case. Now the head of Rahu. So when you say head of Rahu, that means what? Head becomes adjective or not? Is anga a limb? Is it clear? Very simple. Now when it says, but in reality, the Rahu and Shiraha, are they different? In fact, Rahu and Shiraha both are one and same. If you look at the planet Rahu and Ketu, okay? Go back to the old story. How the Rahu Ketu came when Amrutam they were taking, then finally Mohini Rupam, Vishnu took Mohini Rupam and killed this Sudarshan Chakra. So then it got killed. But already it was swallowed Amrutam. Then what happened? So head is called Rahu, the below person is called Ketu. Now, Rahu Sirah, I hope you know this story or not. Many of you do know or not. Huh? Hey, what is this? I am assuming that you know this, okay? That is what Rahu Ketu, because we believe this is what this solar eclipse, lunar eclipse is related to Rahu Ketu. Okay? However, coming back to the point. Now, Rahu Siravat. So the head itself is Rahu. But when we give the verbal expression, now it appears as though One is noun, other one is adjective. One is substratum, other one is connected to it. Is it clear? But in reality, it is not that. So we do use this expression, and we have hundreds of expressions like this. Now, when this happens, that's why it says, first of all, we have to understand that this vikalpa is called sabdabodha. This is a knowledge in keeping with the words. That means because of the verbal expression, because of the word, the vritti that takes place. But interestingly, this knowledge that takes place, it does not point out any vastu, any object or anything in solid in particular, but it is called nirvastukaha. That's why it says vastu shunyaha iti. Devoid of. So when it says devoid of vastu, so that means any objective substratum. So that means what? How is it possible? That means it is not reality. Now question when it comes, now we need to be very careful. How to look at this? One side you say, it generates one type of vritti, a modification, like gave the two examples. But at the same time, it is not connected to Vishesya Visheshana Bhava, will not be there. Like you first pointed out with the colorful guy, cow. Suddenly you say, look, same sixth case, you put it in what? Called Raho Shiravat. Again you contradicted. Now, how is it Vastu Sunya? Will you please? And also if it is Vastu Sunya, how is it is again called how it is imagination, Vikalpa, you call it as. So we have a very beautiful concept. First of all, let us look at how is it. We have a concept called Chaitanyam Purushasya Swarupam iti. A Sanskrit statement, okay? Chaitanyam Purushasya Swarupam iti, because here Sanskrit is a must. Without that you will not understand the Vikalpa, okay? So when you say Chaitanyam Purushasya Swarupaha, so Purushasya sixth case. So that means what? The Chaitanya, the consciousness, if you want to translate, is the Swarupam, is the real nature of the Atma. In English, okay, if you want to say. Now, if you look at how is it so? If you say consciousness in English, because English is not that interesting, but still I am bringing it. Consciousness is the real nature of Atma. What does it mean? Atma is different, Purusha is different, Chaitanya is different or not? It's simple English, okay? So the consciousness is the real nature of Atma. Now when I am talking this point, so it appears as though Chaitanya is one entity and Purusha is another entity. Yes or no? Common English. This is how we understand English. And also because sixth case is being used, real nature of Atma, there is a Vishesha Visheshana Sambandha or not? One is Anga, other one is Angi. One is main, other one is part of it. Anga Angi Sambandha, Vishesha Visheshana Sambandha. Now, if this is the case, now we need to again understand if this Angangi or Amsamsi, all these things, relationship are there. Now, my question is here. this Chaitanya and Purusha, are they separate? Definitely they are not separate either. So when they are not separate, how you look at? That's why when you say, if the Chaitanya and this Purusha, this Visheshana Sambandha happens, then we cannot look at, as we discussed, Chaitya and Gau. The colorfulness, cow, colorful guy, Gau, colorful cow, okay, guy. So we cannot look at. So if this is the case, then how to look at this thing? Now he says, look, this is something we need to see. Here, when it says that Chaitanyam Purushasya Swarupam iti, so it is Siddha Vakyam, it is also comes under Shastra. But there is a difference. So what is the difference? So when he says that Chaitanya, what sort of Purusha? So we say the Purusha who is Niskriya Purusha. Another word. I am just bringing the different words. So Niskriya Purusha. So Niskriya Purusha means from whom all the Kriya, all the activities is over or is gone. So that what we say as that the one who is free from all sort of activities. Now when he says this is what happens, then how you imagine? You say Purusha, you think of entity, then entity means what? Some type of existence, some type of activities. Now he says Niskriya, free from all activities. So when you say free from all activities, it really reveals one type of vritti in your mind. It creates one type of vritti in your mind. But on what? Is there any object? It says Purusha, then it says Niskriya Purusha. You understand the concept? Purusha, then Niskriya Purusha. So the moment it is called as Niskriya Purusha, that means the Purusha, let us say person, if you want to use the word person, wrong word but I am using it, or the entity, better word, the entity that which is free from all activities. Because why we are using this thing? We have also a lot of things to point out. So when you says, generally this is called how this imagination starts. We say that, 1 minute, there is a beautiful, I am looking at Tishtati Vanaha. So to understand this Niskriya Purusha, so Pratisiddha Vastu Dharma Niskriya Purusha iti, Tishtati Vanaha. So when he says Vanaha Tishtati, so Vana means arrow. So arrow is existing. Now what happens? Now second thing comes, Vanaha Stasyati. Third one, Vanaha Stitaha. 3 types of imagination takes place. So when you say there is, let us say arrow, there is an arrow. So that means what? Arrow exists, number 1. Moment you say arrow exists, then what you will say? Then you will say, look, it can be also stopped. Stasyati. When you say there is arrow, for example, you say there is arrow. What do we mean by this? Hey, there is arrow. What does it mean? Arrow is coming. It is there. Also, in your mind will say, time will come, it will stop. If you side yourself, become aside, arrow will go away and it has to stop. And later on also you will understand what? It already stopped. Whether it hit or not target, that's another point, okay? I'm just looking at, when somebody says, hey, there is arrow, hey, it is arrow. The moment you say it is arrow, what does it mean? Okay, if you don't want to say arrow, you can use the word bullet, okay, nowadays. Or in Ukraine, bomb, okay, all these blastings, okay? But that is very fast. So that's why arrow is inconvenient, okay, it attacks only one person or no person. Now, it creates minimum 3 types of imagination. It is coming or it is. Now it is in a movement. It is same thing. Now the movement will stop definitely because it is moving. Third is what? Already it stopped. So that means what? Here automatically it creates these 3 types of imagination in mind. That's why it is called as vikalpa. Now, when it talks about this thing, that's why I say gati nivritika vishayaka ityartha. So when it talks this particular point, now what is to be done, what is to be understood here? He says, look, when it talks about that chaitanyam purushasya swarupam iti, the same example. Now, even though it tries to explain, but finally it is going to talk what? The Purusha and Chaitanyam both are one and same. Number 1. Number 2, that Purusha is not an entity because there is nothing called entity. So that means it communicates. It creates one type of vritti in my mind. Then after that, that vritti, that set of vritti doesn't have any hold in me, any standpoint in me, in my thinking. So that's why this vritti called vikalpa plays a very important role in our life. In fact, if you observe psychologically, I am going to psychologically and I will come to Vedanta. Psychologically, vikalpa creates a problem. And the vikalpa is being handled through another vikalpa. Can you see this point? My popular way of attacking psychologist, which is not right, but I do it very nicely. Childhood problem. You understand? This is old method. Now there are new terminology have come. Okay? Oh, don't worry. This is your childhood problem. So what does it mean? Another set of vikalpa is being created in person's mind to handle previous set of vikalpa. Can you see this point? So that is what they do it. Now here I have a vikalpa. I am, asuddha. Now a setup is, I am suddha purusha. So when I say suddha purusha, purusha that is me, again what is sort of purusha? Niskriya purusha, suddha. How is it possible? The purusha, the entity that which is free from all activities. At the same time it is suddha pure. Purity has to have some activity. How can you say it is pure? You say like water is pure but there is no water. How is it possible? So here we use the vikalpa to handle another set of vikalpa. Psychologically, also in Shastra. That's why vikalpa plays a big role. It's not mere imagination. To handle the imaginary, or I would rather say that the habitual pattern of thinking, which is again based on my imagination. Because if we observe all our habitual thinking that is being developed so far, It is completely somewhere, its root cause is what? Imagination or not? All our habitual thinking, just observe. Any moment of my life, any habitual thinking I have developed, I have nourished, and of course finally I believe in that. In fact, I am that. It is nothing but its root cause is what? Some type of imagination. So that's why here is being carefully taught that this vikalpa, imagination, is not mere vikalpa. So here the vikalpa is not mere imagination. Vikalpa is another set of thinking process in me which handles all other imaginations, vikalpas in me. And it plays exactly like the role. For example, they say very nicely that how to handle the poison. Suppose there is a snake bite. What to do? There is no other method other than taking the antivenom. So only the snake poison destroys snake poison. So also vikalpa handles vikalpa. Is it clear? That's why this set of vikalpa is very important for us, and it does not fall under neither pramana nor viparyaya. Is it clear?